I think there at the moment there's basically an infinite number of possible models for how the music business will conduct itself, because every band is its own universe. There are some of these jam bands that play 7 nights a week. That for them to have like any kind of limitation on their touring would be suicide, because that's where their audience is. Their audience wants to see, they can play a different flat spot in the road every night of the week and fill it every single night. So that's what they should be doing. For some bands, they have a more like non-performance based music. Like some artists are more like a bedroom approach to music, where they make music on their own and then they just send it out into the world. For those people, trying to create a live performance paradigm is a total mistake. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen shit like that at a festival, where a guy with a big name and who's really famous sits on stage with a laptop, and there's a light show behind him, and there's just a silhouette of a dude with a laptop. It's like fucking ridiculous. That's not live performance music. You should just give up, right? So there are a million different ways now. There's an infinite number of possible paradigms for the music business. The only thing we know for sure is that the idea that a record label is going to manufacture records and sell them in the store as the sole means of distribution of music, that's over. That's the only thing we know for sure, is that that's definitely not how it's going to be done anymore. What exists now is that you have individual bands and musicians who have a very direct interaction with their own audience, and they are creating their own methods of extracting value and sustenance from that relationship with their audience. From a cultural standpoint and from an economic standpoint, I think it's a fantastic development. It means that all of our interactions in the music scene are going to be much more honest and much more genuine, from fan to performer. The performer is playing a show, the fan buys a ticket, he gets all the money. With the exception of the ticket services, who have their surcharges, and that's a whole other ball of hair right there. I totally want to fucking destroy the ticket services, like Ticketmaster, TicketWeb, all of those. They're the last gatekeeper, and we just need to, we need to behead them and be done with it. We'll finally have slayed the fucking dragon, But anyway, put that aside for the moment. The interactions between the band and their audience are going to be much more direct. Bands are going to have their own web presence instead of being a page on the website of a record label. They're going to have their own conduits for information, for communication, their own Twitter lifestyle, whatever it is. From now on, bands and their audiences are going to be much more intimately commingled, and there's going to be much less mediation through record stores and corporate entities and stuff. I think from an artistic and cultural aspect, I think that's a fantastic development. From speaking purely as someone who makes records for a living, it's kind of a drag, It means that it's really hard to make a living making records when very few people are selling records. That's really, it puts me under a lot of financial stress.